Whenever I started losing weight, I felt a lot better. In the beginning, it was very discouraging because you don't see the scale move right away. I knew I wanted to get to a specific goal weight, and I just kept pushing myself. I would show up every day. I cleaned up my diet. In the beginning of my weight loss journey, I would eat fast food, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner fast food. McDonald's for breakfast, I would have a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel, a hash brown, and a large sweet tea, or a large iced coffee, extra cream, extra sugar. For lunch, I could have like a small little pizza from Pizza Hut with the garlic sticks and a large soda, and dinner could be me going to Publix and getting Tyson chicken strips and French fries and frying them in a deep fryer at home. So my diet was extremely not good for me, and at the end of the day, I felt it everywhere growing up. So whenever I started losing weight, I felt so much better. I felt lighter on my feet. I remember I would go for walks and I would get home and my feet would just burn because of how they weren't used to all the walking. I would not want to hang around my friends as much just because I wanted to just lay in bed, watch my show, and have something to eat, like something in my hand to snack on. And I just knew I was not wanting to do that anymore. Whenever I first started my journey, I had no idea how to lose weight. I knew my sister had lost weight and she would just go on walks, and I was extremely picky, so when it came to food, I didn't know what to eat, or I was just always scared to try different foods. I don't know why. Whenever I started, I actually started with a weight loss shake that it was marketed for weight loss, and that was my easiest route. So I would have 2 shakes a day, 1 meal and snacks, and I had that for about 3 months just to like kind of kickstart myself, because again, like I only ate fast food or pastas, cereal, oodles and noodles. Can you say that? I don't know. Ramen. It's ramen. Pizza, like anything you name it. That was my go-to. So I had no idea what to start with. Vegetables scared me. Anything green scared me. If I ate protein, it was always fried. So whenever I started, I used the shakes to kickstart, and then throughout the journey, I kind of learned to open my taste buds and try new things and not be so scared. At the end of the day now, I love everything. It's honestly harder now because I'm open to trying everything and food is just so good. So I'm like missed out a lot back then, because now I can see like commercials and I'll be like, where was that whenever I was bigger? I first started with walking because that's all I knew. I would like walk 2 miles a day, every day. After a month of walking, I decided to join a gym, and that's when I got my personal trainer. I had her for two times a month. And I think that was very beneficial because not only one did it help me, but I was more comfortable in the gym and I was able to learn new exercises. I had the accountability. So I feel like that. And then also on top of that, I did have like the support from friends and family. First started taking pictures, like I remember taking my first picture. I was like, okay, this is going to be my day one picture, because I would scroll on Instagram and I would see people posting their weight loss journeys, and I had no idea who they were, but they inspired me. I was like, okay, if they can do it, I can too. So I documented it for myself. No, I never intended to post any transformation pictures on social media. One day I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just do it for myself. I really only followed the weight loss accounts that inspired me, and eventually I started seeing results after taking pictures. For the first month, I didn't step on the scale. I was scared of the scale. I didn't even know how much I weighed. Technically, I started at 320, but that was after a month of exercise. So I honestly don't even know how much I was during that month before. But after I started taking those pictures, I was like, okay, I'm seeing results. And I remember I posted one picture just for myself and friends and family to see. And I remember I had like one hater comment, and he was like, what was the difference? And I tried not to let that like get me discouraged, because I could see it and other people could, but I just remember like I'm okay, there's not going to be anybody that's going to get in my way of this, because I want this for myself. I feel better in my clothes, I feel better on my feet, like I have more energy. Yes, so in the beginning of my journey, I would really do more cardio-based exercises, a lot of high-intensity workouts. My trainer would always give me weights though, so I would be doing like the high-intensity workouts. I would take her workouts and I would do those for the 2 weeks straight, and then I would also add more cardio on top of that. So the elliptical for 30 minutes, walking for 30 minutes. I hated running growing up. I played softball and I cheered throughout all of my younger years, but even then I was always the bigger girl on the team. So whenever the coach would say, oh, you know, do the lap, I was like, have to do it, but it was intense. And then in PE, when we had to run the mile, I always walked it. So I made that like a goal for myself, that whenever I started walking, I wanted to start running. And now like that's my favorite form of cardio is running. The endorphins that you get from it. I remember my first time like I hit I think it was like a 7:30 mile time. I was like ecstatic because I would walk the mile. It was 20 minutes. And even when I first started, I remember my mile with jog walking was 15 minutes. So seeing that progress, I made it a challenge to get to the long distance running and like my fastest pace mile. I was never scared of lifting weights just because my trainer made me comfortable with it. I mean, I was really comfortable in my gym, so I never felt that uncomfortable, but I do remember first walking in and being like really intimidated. I would stay in one little area, and then once later down the road, I was like in different places in the gym, and just always incorporated the lifting with the cardio, and definitely saw results with that. And now I remember whenever I was first working out, I could barely do a step up. Like I couldn't get up off the floor without putting my hands and my knees on the floor to get up. Like I couldn't just like get up with my leg. And I remember the trainer had me step up on a box, and it was literally like this high off the ground. And I couldn't do it. Like I needed the wall in front of me because I couldn't step up on it. 'Cause it was like, I mean, it wasn't like a step, but it was a decent size, but I just know I couldn't do it. And I remember like trying to hold a plank, and it was just the hardest thing ever. Now it's like my strength and conditioning has changed drastically, obviously, but the things I can do now that I couldn't do then is like, it's crazy to think about, that the things that I couldn't do to where I am now. After a year and a half of my journey, I was down pretty much all of my weight. I started at 320 pounds and I got to 145 pounds within an 18-month period. And after a year and a half of maintaining that new weight, I ended up getting diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It was never expected, and I was thrown on a whole different path. But I definitely can say if I didn't lose that weight and become healthier, I don't know where I would be today, or if my body would have been able to even fight it. During my cancer journey, I just kind of stayed on the path of mentally, okay, I don't want to gain this weight back, because that was my first thought, like, am I going to be able to exercise? And am I going to lose my hair? Those were the two first main concerns that I had. Not if I'm going to beat it, or what does my family think. It was those two things. Am I going to gain weight, and am I going to lose my hair? I just did everything in my power to stay positive, on top of documenting the whole weight loss. I had also documented the whole cancer journey. I gained a giant support system through people online, my friends and my family. and I don't know if I would even have been able to get through all of that without all of that support. So just want to say thank you to everybody for that. I am here today cancer-free. I have been cancer-free since 2019. I haven't had any scares. I still get scans to make sure I'm clear. I still show up for myself every day. I got that mindset to, just say, okay, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm going to start this journey. Just so whenever I did get that cancer, because obviously it was in my cards, like it wasn't just like, okay, here's your thrown cancer. It was in my genes and I had no choice. So I had no choice but to fight it, keep going, be brave, just not give up. At the end of the day, like everybody's going to have their own story and there's going to be roadblocks, but you have to push through those because nobody's journey is perfect. Life can throw a curveball at any second and you just have to learn to have that mindset to just say, okay, this is in my life now, but it's going to get better. This is now, it's not forever. I'm here today telling my story now, so.